Hi, welcome to the first episode of HarmonicaAddict. In this first episode, we are going to talk about 5 important steps for harmonica beginner. The first thing you should know about the harmonica is the mechanics of it. How does it create sound? So this is the harmonica I'm using. Let's look inside. In the harmonica, you can see that the yellow one here, the metal one, are called reeds. This one is called the plastic valves. And on the mouthpiece, you can see that there are different holes here. The holes are going straightly to the reeds, where it vibrates and creates sounds. The longer the reeds, the lower the notes. The shorter the reeds, the higher the notes. There are also 4 sets of reed plates. A set for blowing, for drawing, a set for blowing with button, and drawing with button. Each set has their own sequence of notes. The second thing you should know is the posture to hold the harmonica. In your upper body, there are 4 body parts that you have to pay attention to. Firstly is your head, secondly is your hand, and then is the elbow, and finally is the shoulder. Let's talk about the hand position first. On the left hand, you should form a shape like this, where there's a curve here, with 4 fingers in front and the thumb behind. You should be able to put your harmonica on top. For your right hand, you can imagine dividing them into 3 groups. The first one will be the thumb, and then the index finger, and finally the middle ring and little fingers in one group. It will form a position like this. When you have formed a correct position with both hands, you should be able to put the harmonica on top and to cover both hands seamlessly. It is important where you can see no air leakage from here to there. And then your index finger should be able to manipulate the button here. The reason why you have to make sure there's no air leakage, because for any vibrato, hand vibrato playing, it will require you to form this position where the air frequency inside the cave where you form by your 2 hands are different from the air frequency outside, so you can create different tonality and create vibrato. Secondly, let's talk about the elbow position. For your left hand, you should point your elbow outward to your left hand side, while for your right hand, you should point your elbow in front, where you form like a little triangle here. The reason of this position is that the left hand can become a very effective prime mover of any movement on the harmonica where we target a horizontal movement. Meanwhile, the right hand can become a very reliable joint, hinge joint here, to make sure the movement of the harmonica is horizontal. Thirdly, the shoulder. We always try to avoid shoulder elevation during your harmonica playing. This is very common when you do that, but somehow it is related to how you breathe as well, where we're going to talk about later. Finally is your head. For any harmonica beginner, I would strongly advise you not to move your head while playing. The reason why you shouldn't move your head is that the harmonica is an instrument where you can't see, you can't visualize, so every movement, every target are based on a very subtle sensation and a muscle memory. But if you move your hand and head together to find the right hole, you will always be confused by your own self, where sometimes when you move your head to the right and your hand to the left, this combination of movement will give you confusion. After understanding the correct posture of playing the harmonica, we'll move on to the breathing techniques. If you go on the street and ask any person to take a deep breath, they will usually do this. But for harmonica playing, this is actually a wrong movement. We always try to aim at a diaphragmatic breathing. So how does diaphragmatic breathing look like? You can check if you're right. When you breathe in, your stomach is going to expand. And during a diaphragmatic breathing, your shoulder shouldn't be elevating. The way to understand diaphragmatic breathing is you sit like this. You can feel that the airflow is forced to go to the stomach area instead of your lung. The reason why you have to apply the diaphragmatic breathing technique is that the diaphragm has a longer, stronger, and more reliable muscle compared to the muscle at the ribcage area. It will facilitate inhalation and exhalation in a more controlled manner. If you apply diaphragmatic breathing, you can play a longer note, more sustained note, and even a faster breathing speed, like this. After we talk about the mechanics of harmonica, posture, and breathing techniques, let's get into the lips. Obviously, the lips is very important to play the harmonica because it is the part where your body touches the instrument. And there are two schools of belief of how we should position our lips when playing the harmonica. The first one is called pucker, where your lips form a hole that is exactly like one hole on a harmonica. The second school is called tongue block, where your mouth is covering more than one hole at a time. However, in tongue block, we're still trying to produce a sound from one hole from the harmonica, while your mouth is covering more than one hole. So what happened? For the remaining holes, you're going to cover them by your tongue. That's why it's called tongue block. Personally, I believe every harmonica eventually should practice both pucker and tongue block, but I would recommend beginners to begin with pucker, where they will learn faster. Finally, I would like to talk about score reading. There are three main types of scores you can find online for harmonica. Firstly, is the 5-line score, the traditional one. Secondly, is the tab score. And finally, is the simplified score. And I would strongly recommend everyone to begin with 5-line score, even it might be the hardest one to pick up. Because eventually, if you would like to play more music with other musicians, you have to communicate with them, and everyone is using a 5-line score. That is a universal tool for every musician in the world. So even it is hard work at the beginning, it will worth it. So I guess our student is here. Who's gonna be our first student on this tutorial?
Hello.
Hey there. 你好，你好，我係 Cherrona。
你好。
係。
好似我以前啱啱學琴
啊嘛。即係咧，今日我哋會講五樣嘢，就係
首先我會解釋下個口琴係
點樣
個 mechanics 點樣，即係佢其實係啦，佢究竟係你究竟係吹緊一件點樣嘅樂器啊咁樣，跟住之後就係攞起個口琴點樣揸先為之啱咯，係啦，跟住之後就係呼吸咯，即係點樣先係呼吸得好。可能你唱歌都會有朝學過，即係 diaphragmatic breathing。跟住之後咧就係即係個口琴有咁多個窿啦，咁你個口應該係點樣咯？即係其實都有兩種口型嘅咁樣，跟住之後最尾就會教少少個點樣睇譜，即係或者係講解下譜呢樣嘢，即係。
Keep shaking, I can feel it.
feel 到個肚有冇脹咁？
有啊，咁所以其實你吹嘅過程全部一定要用個肚，即係其實同唱歌好似喎。好似。It's actually really similar to singing.
This is a good one. This is a good one. So thank you very much for watching my video. If you have any other questions, please leave your comment below, and you can also tell me what would you like to hear next. My name is Siwa Leo. Hope you enjoyed.